We're here.
Yes, we're here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Relationship Flow Sip and Chat with Dr. Carissa. Yay. And Daryl. How's everybody? I'm hoping everybody had a good week and sitting here chilling with a nice, cool drink while we talk about attachment styles. Daryl, how you been?
I'm well. Good week. Just doing the normal stuff I normally do.
And what is that?
Getting in trouble.
Why are
Oh
you getting in
boy.
trouble, Daryl? Why? Why is that a thing?
I think because my morals and beliefs, I will not wave on them. I will, stick to them independently of what maybe everyone else thinks, and that could be a problem sometimes. People want you to bend to their will, and I'm not bending type. So
Hmm, I can't believe
here's
that. They actually think that they can make you bend to their will.
yeah, me of all people.
Somebody told them wrong.
Somebody and told them wrong. So, but it's a shame I'm missing our third horseman again.
Yeah, Mary's not here again, guys. Hopefully she'll join us next week. But Daryl and I'll get
Everybody
this
writing,
thing rolling.
writing. We will, but everybody writing the comments about your displeasure of her not being here once again.
Right,
Okay, we need
right.
her here. You know what I
We
mean?
need
We
to
need
let
her
her
here.
know that we're getting all these uh, comments about her not being here. Hey,
Right. Tell
Tracy.
her and hey Tracy, um, we definitely want to hear that voice. So she'll be back soon.
I hope so.
Next week. Next
Yeah, we
week.
need the
Next week
third
she
wheel
better be back. We
so that
need it. You know what I
we can
mean?
step away from some. We can step away, answer our
Right.
phones, check, answer the door, check the mail. We we can't move
We need
around when it's just two of us.
just you know what I mean. And look. Honestly, we need to form like Voltron. We're missing a piece.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, my
So
week has been
that's
it's been okay. Today was a little busy, a little taking care of family stuff, which can be a pain when you got people not doing their jobs.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Especially when you're paying them well to do their job. Like, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So the day had me a little tired. I
Okay.
need
Okay.
some rest and relaxation.
Right.
But
Right.
we all
Little
know that
R
that
and
this
R.
this show right here is part of my self care. So you know I'm gonna make that work for me.
Ah,
So tonight we are talking about attachment styles because they have a very important effect on your relationships. Your
mhm.
attachment style can um or does have an impact on how you relate to, interact with, get into relationships and how and the outcomes of those relationships. So we thought it was important to kind of talk about it briefly. This is a topic that we may revisit from time to time as we talk about other topics because it really fits in with just about everything.
Right. Right.
So,
Absolutely right. Correct.
yes, yes. So let's just get right down to it. Because I know Daryl, you were saying that this is something that you don't hear about a lot. And I know that I
Right.
I
Absolutely.
I only hear about it a lot because I notice that when I'm doing therapy, that sometimes the relationship problems that people are having are directly related to their attachment style. And
Okay.
oftentimes they didn't know that, they never heard that. And so we, that becomes part of the process.
Right. Right. And it's now I was reading something and it said these start at childhood,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're kind of learned in at childhood, and then they, however it manifests itself, that's whatever style you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That is very true. It has all to do with your family or origin, or who raised you, because sometimes you're not raised by family, but it has a lot to do with
Right. Right.
how
Right.
you are raised and what you experience, what you see, and how you are attended to as a kid.
Okay. Okay. All right. So however your needs were attended to also help shape your whatever attachment style you may have later. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting.
Yes, yes. So the four attachment styles that the four styles that are named are anxious, avoidant, disorganized, and secure. And I put secure last because we'll talk about that one last, because that
Okay.
is
Gotcha.
what you're striving for.
That's what everyone thinks they are, and they're one of the other three.
Yes. Yes. Which is it's interesting, because a lot of people do think when I first bring it up, it's like, yeah, I'm secure. Like, okay, well,
Right.
tell me how
Right.
you interact with people. And oftentimes
Hmm.
it's not. You're not.
Right. Hmm.
You're not. All right.
Absolutely. So what we have
Mm-hmm.
anxious first.
Yes, let's talk about anxious. Tell me what you
Okay.
found, Daryl.
So what I saw was it said the thought of living without a partner or being alone in general causes high levels of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
People with this style of attachment typically have a negative self-image while
Mm-hmm.
having a positive view of others.
Mm-hmm.
The anxious adult often seeks approval, support, and responsiveness from their partner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I want to kind of stop right there for a moment because could this style kind of be draining on the other person if this person's always looking for validation and looking for approval, and it's like, oh, every little thing I do, hey, you put the glasses in the cabinet back, right? Good job. Like that's a lot to do all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Like that seems
Yeah.
like I could wear somebody down.
Yes. Yes. And I hear people often say that their partner is not giving them enough positive feedback. And that's one thing,
Mhm.
if you want to be recognized for some of the stuff you did around the house or things that you've, done to make your partner feel good. But with this, it's constant. It's constant
Right.
because the person has this fear of rejection. So they have to be constantly reassured that you're not going to reject
Got you.
them. Hmm.
So it says a strong fear of abandonment is present, and safety is a priority. The attention, care, and responsiveness of the partner appears to be the remedy for anxiety. So the partner is the answer for all their issues. Again, it sounds tiring.
Yes.
I can't be your Tylenol every day. It's gonna take as needed.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. So they're looking,
Wow.
they need their partner to be everything and actually show them regularly
Right. Right.
that
They
you're
need their fix.
that you're here for me and that you're not going to leave me.
Wow. Like I said, every day, all day long, that's
Every
ridiculous. I
day.
can't do it. Hey, I ain't going nowhere. And
Mm-hmm.
I like how you put the dishes in the dishwasher. Good job.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That really could burn another person out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because yeah,
So
it's just
some
too
of the,
much responsibility. And then you start neglecting yourself, I think.
well, yeah, if your partner is that needy, it is kind of hard to take care of yourself.
Right. Right.
Like you don't really have time, you know?
Mm-mm.
And some of the, so they'll be really clingy, they'll be really sensitive, like to criticism, which makes sense because If you're criticizing me, that means that you might leave me. If you think there's something wrong with me, you might not want to
Right.
stick around.
So even if you say something that is really to you not a big thing, like, wow, why'd you put the dishes back in the thing? They weren't dry. They could really take offense to that and feel like, oh my God, what you mean? I try to do my best.
Or you hear things like, they'll think he hates me or they hate
Okay.
me because they've said they didn't like my shoes.
Oh, wow. They would go to that extreme.
It can. It can.
Wow, I don't like your shoes and he hate me. I didn't say that.
Yeah. Well, they already feel unworthy. They feel, the self-esteem is low. They're scared that people are going to leave them. So, they really don't trust that you're going to stay with them anyway.
Okay. All right. So with
and they often people who are anxious, they're often very jealous too. Because if you're giving somebody else my attention, that means, you might try to roll out on me.
Wow, very interesting. Don't be anxious. Please don't be anxious. This is bad. This is bad. If you're anxious, stop it. Just stop it now.
Just stop.
And it's crazy because this is who they are. This is their base. Their base was built off it, and this is who they are and will be unless they get some help to kind of change or some strategies to kind of control this.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. Unless they start really working on moving towards a secure attachment style, this is what will manifest in their relationships. And because it's their pattern, the people that they're attracted to have to kind of mold into that.
Right.
If they want to stay with them. Or if it's somebody like you who says this is too much for me, I can't handle this, then you'll be leaving. And a lot of times they might have had several relationships like that where somebody broke up with them because it was just too much, but then that just fuels the anxiety. And so they'll see this pattern repeating, and of course they'll be blaming themselves. But not realizing that it's because of their their anxious attachment style that they're kind of chasing people away.
Right.
Hey, Atlanta. Hey. The ATL in the house.
That's where she is?
Yeah.
Why she say that?
Why what?
Did we ask where she was? You asked
Shut up there.
You asked where she's at?
Did we ask for shout outs?
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I'm getting anxious.
Now, have you had any experiences with anxiously attached people?
I want to say I have. And where it really manifested itself was when you said anything like you couldn't even play and say something because they would get so upset about it. Like I remember saying I can't even play with you. Like I can't even say anything in jest because you take it to heart. Like, and I'm like, we're laughing and playing, and I'll say something like, I like being funny, and it's like, I can't believe you said that. You really mean that? I did. It was joking. I don't get it, and it just was so difficult because I felt like I couldn't even play with this person because everything was taken to heart. Hey, slow down, drive too fast. Oh, I'm doing my best. I don't know why you. Never mind. Do 100. It's okay. Do 100. It's all right. I'm going.
Just do 100.
I'm just gonna die. Go ahead. I'm gonna die because you. What do you mean? So it's very interesting. I feel like I've but then some of these kind of like as other things. Like when we get the other ones, I kind of feel like some people that are in between. I
Mm-hmm.
feel. I don't know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just saying.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
mean,
this is
even
very
under
interesting.
anxious, I know we were talking about before we came on, like even under being anxiously attached, you had the anxious preoccupied, and we probably won't get a chance to go
Right.
into all the subs and you know, but yeah,
Right. Right. Right.
it could be some other pieces to each of these
Right. 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 Right.
categories. Yeah.
But I do realize that when you start talking to a person, you kind of see a lot of ways things they're doing or things they're exhibiting. When you hear about their childhood, you're like, that sounds like what mom went through, or what she went through, or what her dad went through. You kind of see it sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like my mom didn't trust nobody, and I don't trust nobody either. Okay, I get it. Makes sense. But I didn't know these styles until this week, really, to kind of put it in, give it more of an understanding. Like, oh, this makes sense. This is, reading into these styles, you start seeing different people. You really do exhibit these things, right? And you can really see it is based out of your experiences. This is we're a combination of our experiences. We carry these things around like luggage, and we just keep it. We just put it in the trunk, keep it. And subconsciously we don't
Luggage.
realize it's coming out sometimes. Yeah, it's a subconscious, it may come out. We don't, and the problem is they think they're right. Like I think a lot of people think they're secure when they can be anxious. This is normal to them. So you can't tell them that what they're feeling is wrong or this is not right. Like, no, tell me this is normal. Okay.
Yes.
So it's very interesting. So let's go. The next one was avoidance. That's draft.
Avoidant. Yes. Avoidant. Let me put up our little banner. Avoidant, guys. All right. So tell me what you found about avoidant there.
So avoidance, what's interesting too is like it says the dismissing avoidant type would often perceive themselves as a lone wolf, strong, independent, self-sufficient, not necessarily in terms of physical, but rather than emotional level. These people have high self-esteem and positive view of themselves. The dismissing avoidant type tends to believe that they do not have to be in a relationship to feel complete. They do not want others. They do not want to depend on others. They do not want to depend on others. Have others depend on them, or seek support or approval in social bonds. Adults with this attachment generally avoid emotional closeness. They also tend to hide or suppress their feelings when faced with a potential emotional dense situation. So that kind of, so it's very interesting.
Yeah, these are the people who
so
have.
they sound like they don't want to be in a relationship.
Right. These are the
I don't
people
need
who
this. I don't need you.
they I won't say can't, but part of the problem is that they don't build long-term relationships. Because they can't bond with people on that deeper level.
Okay. So this is more like people who may just engage in, very casual type relationships.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They just sticking and moving, but no type of commitment.
They have a hard time expressing their feelings. They might be dismissive of other people's feelings, but they also don't trust people. They also don't trust.
I was about to ask that question.
What?
So it's like they don't want to be with anyone, and they, I guess, like I said, just have these almost, I guess, semi-casual relationships. What type of person would this be? Because they seem like they don't want, and they say they have a high self-esteem, but how do they deal with other people having this type of attitude?
Well, because they have a hard time trusting people, they start to feel threatened when people try to get close to them because they don't. It's like they're wondering what the ulterior motive might be. That gives like a better picture of how they may
Okay,
express
gotcha.
themselves. You know, so they may go from relationship to relationship to relationship, like you said, sticking and moving, but don't
Right.
develop any kind of deep relationships with anyone.
Do these?
But the
And I don't know. I'm sorry. Do they even kind of play the role like we want to be in relationships? Do they say it like we do want a relationship, or they're kind of like we don't want a relationship from the beginning? Like what type of person,
I think that
if that
these are
makes
the
sense?
people. I think these are the people who will say they're not looking for anything serious.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. But the
Okay.
fact that the fact of where it comes from lets you know that that's a problem because it comes from not being cared for properly by your caregivers. These are the kids that are left to fend for themselves. They're doing all their stuff for themselves.
Oh,
These are the independent children.
gotcha. So
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't even know how to they wouldn't know how to feel or receive love because it was never really given to them.
Hmm. Right. They had to
Okay.
take care of their own basic needs. They didn't have anybody to do that. So of course you would grow up thinking, I don't need anybody to do these things for me. I don't need a partner. I don't need friends because I can do all
Mhm.
this by myself. But
So
a
what
lot of
about
times
okay
when
and,
they end up coming into a lot of times when they end up coming into therapy is because they're lonely and they can't figure out why they cannot
why?
form a deep relationship with anyone.
So what about if one of these people have a child? Would that change it at all?
a, a lot of times it's the pattern starts to repeat itself. I was just
So
talking
they
to
couldn't
someone
even really.
today who's in this situation, and they were saying that they have a really difficult time showing their child love. They wanted their child to just be an independent person, so that's how they raised the child. They have never praised their child. They don't hug and kiss their
Mm,
child.
okay. Okay.
And we're talking about why that's a problem.
You don't know, honey. We have a long way to go. Wow. Very interesting.
Hmm.
So even
But
having a
that is the way
kid
that
wouldn't
they were
change
raised.
that.
Hmm?
Okay. That's all they know.
That's
That's
all
all
they
they
know.
know.
You're independent, and you don't need anybody. Hey, Facebook user Neil.
That's what I think it is. And I'm like, she's in the game. She can play. She can talk all night. Good job, Neil. I love it. Okay. That's Neil. I love it. Hey, girl. The duo is here. Um. So, and these people are lonely. So would that turn them kind of bitter? Kind of because you're
Um,
feeling lonely. Would that kind of make you?
I guess that would depend on the person, because this person's not
Okay.
bitter, but this person is just trying to figure out why they're this way and why can't
Okay.
they feel close to someone on a deeper level. They've had relationships because, like I said, they have a kid. They've
Right.
had
Right. Right. Right.
relationships, but when they get to a certain point, the other person is always saying things to them like, I don't think you care about me. I don't think you want to be with me. And they're like, yeah, well, I mean, you can leave or go. I mean, nobody wants to hear that. Like,
right.
you can
Right.
stay or go. I mean, no, nobody
Wow.
wants to hear that
Wow.
if they want to be in a relationship with you.
Right. 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 If that's your answer, like, whoa. Guess I'm gonna go then. This is crazy.
Yeah, right? Right?
Yeah, that'd be tough too to deal with. Like, goodness gracious.
Mhm.
And they just cold. They colder than the other side of the pillow, and they're not really understanding. They're not giving you. anything. It's me.
We knew it.
Hi, me. We did. And that's why I said we missed you. I'm glad you're here tonight. Look at
Mm-hmm.
that. That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm. And some
Would you?
people
Would you?
go, I was going to say, some people go throughout their whole adult life and never realize that this is a problem until or unless they want a relationship, like a long-term
Exactly.
relationship. Like if they want to get married or something.
Right. Right.
Or a partner or five brings it to their attention that they feel like you can take me or leave me.
Could this person potentially be married and have this type of attitude? Like they just,
Yeah, if
all
they
right,
found the right
hey, do it.
person to put up with it.
The right person that would.
Yes. Because you know what? It's true that some of these people find each other, you know?
Right. They both. Nobody caring. Hey, you can go or you can go. You just stay. You gonna stay. All right, cool. We here.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Okay,
But
got
the
you.
problems come, like, say if you get an avoidant and an anxious person together,
Oh,
the
they're
anxious
direct
person
opposite.
gonna be on edge all the time,
Right.
with the
The
avoidant
avoidant
person
person
talking
not gonna
about
get what they need.
you could stay or go. That's not
I
what
mean, I can't
the
give you.
anxious person needs.
Right. Right. I can't praise everything you do. Don't do it then. Get out. You know.
Like I don't have time for that. I can't meet your needs.
Right, because the avoidant person couldn't really say. They probably wouldn't say "I love you" unless it was like, "Yeah, I love you. I do." Wouldn't be sincere, I guess, if they
Mm-hmm.
did say it, right? Because they're not really believing that or really having those type of feelings. Or they most of the time, would they try to get out of it before it got to that?
I
They
don't,
start
I,
sabotaging.
again, it depends on the person.
Right,
Because,
a
like you
person.
said,
Right,
there
right,
are
right.
some married avoidant folks. They just were able to find the right match where the
A sucker
person
born
is
every day.
okay with that distance in the relationship.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. Wow, that's crazy.
Or they
And this
find
is all
another
brand
avoidant
new.
person.
I told you they both be over there like, hey, nah, we just leave, you leave. Dang,
Yeah, that
crazy.
would be a strange relationship for me. You
But I
know,
guess it
how
would
could
work
you?
perfect for them.
Yeah,
For
yes.
them, it'd be perfect to find an avoided person. Both of them not really caring, not really, hey, whatever, it's whatever. It's all good. You know what I mean? You go, you stay, whatever. It's cool. I think that, yeah, if they
Mm-hmm.
found each other, they might be all right. They might be all right. They might find avoidance love.
Avoidance love. Until one of them gets some insight or, decide that they need a little bit more, then the avoidant person would start rejecting them. Like, you need
Oh,
too
absolutely.
much.
You changed. You
Mm-hmm.
changed. How dare you
Mm-hmm.
want to get closer?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yes. You want to start talking about
Uh,
emotions. You want me to hug
Emotion.
you and
Yeah.
yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Oh wow. Oh, yeah. They definitely, and they would feel that change. No, they
Mm-hmm.
would definitely feel
Yes.
that change.
Yes. And
Wow.
they would probably, you know, um put you down or, what- punish you maybe for trying
Right.
to change up,
That's,
punish you for trying to start depending on them. Like,
wow. That's crazy.
you're supposed to
So
be
once you start to get
independent. You don't need
healthy,
me.
right? Once you start to get healthy, it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, it can be.
That's really crazy. Disorganized. Can you hear me?
Disorganized. Go ahead.
All right. So disorganized. The disorganized type tends to show unstable and ambiguous behaviors in their social bonds. For adults with this style of attachment, the partner and the relationship themselves are often the source of both desire and fear.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fearful, avoidant. So this one broke it down into disorganized and fearful, avoidant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it says now fearful, avoidant people do want intimacy and closeness, but at the same time experience trouble trusting and depending on others.
Mm-hmm.
They do
Mm-hmm.
not. They do not regulate. They do not regulate their emotions well
Mm-hmm.
and avoid
Mm-hmm.
strong emotional attachment due to
Mm-hmm.
fear of getting hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
they want it, but they're afraid at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes.
So it's weird. Like you want it, but I'm afraid to put something first because I know you're gonna hurt me, but I love you, but I don't love you because you're not gonna love me long enough. You're gonna leave me, so I'm gonna leave you first, but I want to be with you, and I'm gonna be with you forever, but not really because you may leave me, and I don't know if I love you.
Yes, pretty much.
Like what?
And it makes sense that it's
So yeah,
called
that's
disorganized. Yeah. And this, usually comes from if you were raised by
so it
outright neglectful parents or abusive parents, because that's your first relationship. You love them, but they're hurting you. So how is it that
right.
you're able to develop a secure attachment to anyone else if that people
Oh
who love you
wow,
hurt you?
right, right, right.
Mm,
Wow. So that you just carry that throughout. You have those both things inside of you where you want love, but then you're like, I know love also hurts. I know love also lets you down. I know love is not
mhm,
there for you, but I know love is good and it feels good, but you just so you have this internal struggle with it every day. And then if that
mhm.
person is not really giving you, if they're giving you any signs of either one, you're going to go on it from day to day. Like, well, it looked like they loved me today. They brought me flowers, but now they forgot that we had to do something. He must don't love me. I can see that being very tough,
Mhm.
for everybody involved.
Mhm. Yes, yes, yes. And because their parents. Their parents were, a source of comfort, but also a source of fear. Mhm.
And could you see it? Could that happen also? I mean, if the maybe the parents may kind of showed you love, but not show love to each other.
Hmm.
Because they
That's
loved you, but then you
interesting.
see them not
I,
loving each other.
yeah, I don't think that would lead to a disorganized attachment style though.
Okay.
But I can see that leading to how you how you think about what love looks like in a
Okay.
relationship of two people. I could see that. It can definitely have an effect on that. Like
Gotcha.
if your parents never hugged and kissed or you never shown affection to each other, I could see the person doing that with their significant other or spouse or you know
Right. Okay.
like if
Very
you come
interesting.
from a family of people who don't show physical affection, more than likely you won't either.
Right, because it's not normal to you.
Mhm. Mhm.
So then
Yeah.
somebody who needs that, it'll be a struggle to be with someone who needs that physical attention or physical affection because it's not common to you. It may be common to them.
Mhm. Yes. So you have a partner that's saying, "You never touch me," and the other person is saying, "Well, I don't touch
Right. Right.
nobody."
Right. 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 It's really not you. It's
Right.
me. I promise you, it's not you.
But you know what? It's funny because these are things that you can ask about or see even on like or even at a first date. You could kind of
Right.
see the ways that people interact, but either you don't pay attention or you
Right.
see it
Right.
and
Right.
think it will change. And either of those
Absolutely.
things lead you into a relationship where you're like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have done this.
I haven't been touched in weeks. I knew it. I tried it. I thought it'd be different. I thought he was just being a gentleman. Yeah, I get it. I
thought after we got married, he touched me every day.
Right. Touching me even less now.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So there, these are things you can ask about. These are things, that you can see from the very first date.
Right.
How, you can kind of figure out someone's attachment style pretty early on.
And that's something, again, being aware of it now, and I wish I was aware of it a long time ago, because it could save you some trouble. It could save you some trouble, right? Like, dang, she just don't care about nothing. Gotta go. You avoid it. You avoid it. I'm good. Get that away from me.
Or you come across somebody on a first date and they're like real jealous of the waitress. They're jealous of the bus boy. They're jealous at the parking attendant. Like, I saw you look at her. What? Wait a minute. I was just trying to be polite. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Right. I remember it happened one time. I was on a date with a girl and was at a club, and another girl was on the box. Like, this real big girl was on the box. I'm like, how did that big girl get on the box? It's incredible. She got up there. She nimble to be as big as she is. And the girl like, oh, that's what you want? Huh? Is that what? And walked out.
Oh, wow.
Walked out the club, left. And then she started texting me from outside, come outside. I ain't going outside. I ain't like that text. I ain't like it.
I'm not going outside.
I ain't going nowhere. I'm good. Come outside now. I asked my walk me to my car that night.
Sound like she had something for you outside.
Oh, listen. She said it like it was like on and popping. She said, come outside. For what? No. I'm not. Can't. Won't do it.
That sounds like that was probably a good idea not to go out.
Right. And it was like I think the second time we went out. So it was very early, and I couldn't understand that you jumped to a conclusion. I'm just looking. You don't know what I'm doing. And you took it to the next level. You know what I mean? You just jumped off the deep end. They going to tell me to come out. I thought it was a threat. It felt like a threat to me. So I didn't go outside. No, thank you. I chose life that night. But like I said, knowing that, I could have knew where she was at, and I could have left her alone right then and there.
Well, did you see her again after that?
Absolutely. We like a little bit crazy. And I would say it only got worse. That's what I'm saying.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Oh,
if someone show out on the first or second date, this is what it is.
Hey, listen,
it's not going to change.
Oh, it's not. I thought it was. It didn't. It didn't.
Right, Neil? Why would you go back for more?
Listen, well, us men, when you women are beautiful, we'll do anything. Like, we don't know. Maybe she was having a bad night. She was having an off night. So we go back and take more abuse. You big dummy. That's what I heard. That's right, you big dummy. I felt that way after 18 times.
20 days.
I felt the same way.
20 days.
Yeah, it kept going back until it got really bizarre. And she also told me, so it was my fault as well. I remember she told me on the first date, she was like, yeah, I'm crazy. I have a psychiatrist and a psychologist. She was serious. I thought she was playing. She was serious.
Oh my goodness. So she gave you fair warning.
Hey, put it all out there. Yeah, listen, perfect. It was great. It was awesome. It was like the craziness was good. You like the craziness because it'd be crazy at times. Like, this is great. And then it'd be like crazy, like kill you crazy. And that's not great. That's not good. You know, they'll be
and
your
probably
friends.
didn't learn your lesson, I'm sure.
Oh no, it took me a while to learn my lessons. You know, you feel like, did she try to kill you again? That's how we had conversations.
Oh my
Did she kill you
God.
again? It's it was like either we were good or she was trying to kill me. It's one of the two. No in between. And it could
Mm-mm-mm.
like this. It could be good and then
That is
it's crazy.
crazy.
But that's the
So
problem with us. Yeah, we don't know any better.
I see. So the disorganized person will probably show a combination of behaviors. They could be avoidant, they could be anxious. So it'll be disorganized.
Oh, right. Okay, got you. Got you.
Mhm.
Right. It's
One
very
way,
difficult.
one yeah, it's very difficult. Very difficult.
And I think
And
the
then
most
last,
difficult about all three is wait, I would say
okay.
most difficult about all three is that it's these and all of us, whoever we fall, sometimes we feel like we're okay.
Yeah.
We feel like this is normal because it's so normal to us. It's okay to be avoidant. It's okay to be disorganized. It's okay to like I want to be in love, but all these people might do something like we're still kind of protecting ourselves because we feel it's okay. And I think that's why this is important to know because if you're repeating some of these things in your relationship, like I need help because this is not it's not getting me anywhere, right? It's not getting me closer or anything to where I want to be. That's where it's really good to know that. Now, the last one is what you said, the unicorn.
Secure what we are striving for.
You said this exists only in Disney movies.
This is the one that everyone thinks they are.
Everybody's secure.
Mhm.
So it says, so this one is in contrast to all the other ones. The secure attachment
Mhm.
style implies that a person is comfortable expressing emotions openly. Adults with a secure attachment style can depend on their partners, and in turn, that their partners rely on them. Relationships are based on honesty, tolerance, and emotional closeness. The secure attachment type thrives in the relationship, but also don't fear being on their own. They do not depend on the responsiveness or approval of their partner and tend to have a positive view of themselves and others.
Mhm. Yes.
This is
So
this is people
they
who are raised by Jesus.
Wow.
Raised you perfectly,
Jesus
perfect lamb
himself.
himself, and you in turn have these great characteristics that you can put out there with your relationship.
But they and I won't say it's rare. I'm not going to say rare.
I'm gonna say it's rare. I told you. I think I know two people that are have the secure relationship style, and they're married to each other. So it's really I know one person.
So the only two they're taken.
That's it. They're taken. They found each other. Secureness found secureness. They attracted what they put out, and it worked. Other than that, it's really interesting. So, I mean, I think a lot of us have so much trouble growing up.
All right
Sure
now,
we did.
Neil.
Sure we did.
Hmm. Daryl, that sounds like sarcasm.
That was sure we did. No, but again, with work and things of that nature, if you know some of these things, that can help change your outlook on things if you work at it.
Hmm.
So I think that that's what happens. I think we have to work on it to break these. We'll say some of these bad habits may have picked up.
Hmm. I mean, with securely attached people, they they know how to regulate their own emotions. They know how to be close, but they also know how to be independent. So it's like all the opposites of the ones that we already talked about.
Right,
They can
right, right, right.
communicate well. They know how to ask for help. they, and they can ask for emotional support. They feel comfortable being close to people.
Right. I think I correct myself. I think there are probably more secure people out there. The problem most likely lies is that they meet or hook up with one of the other three.
Yeah, now that happens a lot.
Yeah, and then you could damage the secure person. Okay.
That happens a lot.
Like
You know,
I used to be secure until I met
because
you.
if you're secure and you know how to manage conflict, and you come across a anxious person, they can kind of make you feel like, you're trying to use all the skills and stuff that you got to work through
Right.
these things, but they are stuck in this, like the girl you talked about.
Right.
You want everybody because she's anxious. So everybody that comes across your path, you want them. So now the secure person trying to use their skills, but they have to also find a way to make you seem like, or convince them that everything is okay.
Right. So would a secure person be? Could it show up as like a fixer?
It could. It could. If you're in a relationship and you want to be in a relationship with, especially with the anxious person, yes.
Right.
It
I'm
could,
gonna try
but
to
like you
do.
said in the beginning, it would be so draining after a while.
Right.
Because the anxious person has a hard time doing anything, especially without your feedback and support.
Right.
So yeah, you become the fixture. That kind of could become your role in the relationship, and then you end up burnt out.
Right. Then I become avoidant. Now I'm hiding from you in the basement.
We already know that won't work with an anxious person.
Well, listen, I'm gonna stay at work a little late. I'll be back in a week.
Uh-huh. While they're sitting in the parking lot trying to see who you coming out the job with.
Right. Wow, that's so crazy. So, have you ever had that in session where one person was kind of very secure, another person was whatever they were on the on the chart, and it's like they're different, and you're trying to mend that fix it somehow.
Yes, and it usually comes down to trying to help the person that's not secure become secure. Right. That's what it really boils down to, because the secure person, they have the skills. They know how to, treat you in the relationship usually, and they know what they need. That's another thing about being secure. You know what you need in the relationship, and you're trying to impart that to your partner. And in those other cases, a lot of times they can't really give it to you. But if you're the fixer and you really want to be there for that person, a lot of times you might go without.
Right.
If you're securely attached and these people can't meet your needs, you might go without.
Right. Nothing's refilling you.
Mm-hmm. And the bad part about it is that if you're secure and you cannot stand to go without, you'll end up leaving these people, and that just fuels the dysfunction for them.
Right. So now in the next relationship, they're going to carry that as well. That didn't work. Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Another person left me. Right. I'm no good. Or if you're avoidant, I didn't need them anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm. Or I knew this was going to happen.
I knew this was going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen. This is why I'm putting nothing forth, because I knew it was going to happen.
Exactly. Instead of looking within. Yes. Right. Yes. Instead of saying to yourself, well, what were my patterns in this relationship? What were the things I was
Right,
doing?
right, right.
Ah, yes, Neil. I dodged that bullet. Yes.
Oh, right, 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 right. That's
Uh-huh.
crazy. And like I said, no accountability of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't. They're just not hold themselves accountable. It's always someone else. What someone else did. That's very
Mm-hmm.
interesting. When and how people get offended. You ask them about their past relationships, and they always have. But they did
And
this, and they did
that's a
this.
great question to ask,
And I'm
to,
like, God,
find out how they ended, or,
right,
yeah.
right. And
Mhm.
and then you say, well, what did you do? And it's never, they get offended. Well, I mean, I usually say something like, well, like when I meet a woman, like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? What's wrong with you?
Dang, Daryl.
Hey, listen, let's not beat around the bush. What's wrong with you? Obviously, you out here alone again. What's wrong with you?
Wow. So the
Every
anxiously attached woman you just met got even more anxious.
Hey, I'm trying to get it out the way early. What's wrong with you? I mean, you should be able to say what's wrong with you. What you feel is wrong with you. Like, again, some self introspection. Like, what's wrong with you? If it's everybody else, then I know you're the problem, and I'm out.
But
Can't
they're
be
gonna
just
say to you, it's
everybody else.
nothing wrong with me.
Good. Thank you for letting me know that. It's nice meeting you. Because I already know there's an issue. Like, you should kind of know what we have. We should all be working on ourselves as well. If
Yes,
you had 18,
for sure.
18 failed relationships, then let's talk about it. Okay, something going
18.
on. Right. Now it's different if you were married, for a long time and you
Right,
back out.
right,
That's totally different. I get that,
right.
right? But again, if you had 18 relationships since I don't know however long it's been going on and none of them worked,
Mm-hmm.
it got to be a big part of you. Big part is you. Like, and we should. And they get offended when I say that, but I'm like, well, who else is this? Because they were all one person. They were here for a moment. You were in every
Right,
relationship.
right, right.
You need to call all them guys back and apologize. It was your fault.
18 though, Daryl.
Listen, you think about it, especially the older you are, the more
Yeah.
relationships you've had, and at that point, if you're still have the same song and dance where it's everyone else, then that's a problem.
Or they may say
Or
something like, I'm not looking. I don't want to be. That's here we go with the avoidant person. If they say
right,
that, I don't want to be in a relationship. I'm not looking. I'm having
all right, so,
fun.
right. So you just got a whole bunch of people taking you down, huh? That's fun. Okay, thank you again. Nice knowing you. Like, you out here putting notches on your belt. I'm good. We should be past that at this point in life, right? So that's another thing. I'm good. And like even that you saying you're not out here looking. Well, what are we talking for right now? You know what I mean? Are we going to go upstairs right now, or are we going to what you got to like? For me, I need to know what we're talking about. If you're saying you ain't out here looking, but we're talking, what are we talking for? Right? You know what I mean? What is it? You going upstairs? You want free meals? What are you on? Is it a foodie date? Is this what this is? You know what I mean? We got to figure out what it is. If it's a foodie date, thanks for letting me know. I'm out. I'm leaving. If it ain't going nowhere, I'm leaving. But this is what we need
You're
to
just
know.
leaving.
Yeah, because listen, if it ain't going nowhere, what I'm doing, I ain't wasting time. I ain't got time to just be putting notches out here on my belt. Shoot, women, I'm special. Can't just giving it away.
Y'all heard that, ladies. He is
Yeah, we got
special.
work.
So you got to come with a purpose. You got to come out with a purpose,
Listen,
ladies.
look, you want my last name. You better work. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. Especially this is something else to add to, when you go out or you're meeting people, some questions to ask or some things to look for. If that style is something you can deal with, right? I think we all have to deal with something, but again, non-negotiable. See what I can deal with. I can't deal with someone who's just avoidant, right? I can't deal with someone who's just gonna stay, gonna leave. I can't. That's not like, let's pick a lane and go in it. Either say leave or
Yes,
stay.
yes. There definitely has to be a middle ground in there,
Right,
especially
right,
when you're
right.
when you're on that you can stay or leave, because
Right,
yeah,
right,
you
right,
don't
right,
want to be all dependent on someone, but you also
right,
want to be able to
right,
let them in and do things for you.
right,
So yeah,
right.
there's always a middle ground. And that's how you can tell, what a person's style is, because there are extremes. You just have to know the questions to
Okay. Right, right. Definitely know what to ask. Again, good question is, what's wrong with you?
ask.
After you get their name, after you get their
Well, they're
name.
gonna say nothing's wrong with me.
So that's your answer, fella. If anybody says there's nothing wrong with them, time to go. Because who's giving away nothing wrong with it? If I get a car and nothing wrong with it, I'm gonna keep it. You give it away if something wrong with it. Is it wrong? It ain't got no engine. Okay, I can't use it. So if nothing's wrong with it and nobody wants it, it's a real problem. So I'm gonna go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me know that nothing wrong with you. Right? Because there's something wrong with all of us. We all have things we have to work on. And it'd be good to kind of, again, at a certain point, especially if you had a lot of relationships, you probably heard the same things over and over in these relationships. Whether it's you don't touch me enough, or you don't talk to me, or you're not showing me love. Whatever it is, it's probably been something that's said to you more than once. And you should be able to start hearing that, like, well, all of them can't be wrong. Maybe I'm not giving what I think I'm giving.
Lord,
Hey, listen,
please.
these these are real life things, bro. You need to ask these questions. What's wrong with you? And I would say either way, even women, what's wrong with you? To men, like if you got a man and he's out here and he's had 18 relationships and they all didn't work. Well, why, bro? You're the consistent. Maybe we need to understand what's going on that you continue to fail in relationships, or picking the wrong person, the wrong type of person. Maybe you're picking somebody who's avoided, and you're anxious and you need attention. Like maybe you're doing that over and over again as well. Whatever it is, you want to find out what it is to try to stop doing that, and maybe add something that'll last more than a year or two, 6 months, and then you're back out there again doing the same thing again. Talking about, man, it was her, man. She crazy, bro. She's so crazy. Yeah, they're all crazy. They can't all be crazy. It's something sound like you're crazy.
Right, right. Mm-mm-mm.
So it's
But like
very
you, yeah, that's important. Like if they've had 18 and you just happen to think that you're going to be the great 19th and things are going to go well, not likely, unless they tell you that they've been in some type of therapy or something, and that
right,
they're working on themselves in some kind of way. You're not just going to
right,
magically be the great 19th.
right. And I think at this point, with all the information we have, we should start understanding that there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with getting help. Nothing wrong with talking to some people, because sometimes we may be one of these and not even know it. We have these things in us that we're not, that we don't constantly recognize that, but it's leading our lives, it's steering us from the subconscious.
Yes.
Therapy is not going to hurt. It may help you bring something out and be able to deal with it and be a much better person. You're like, I didn't know I was dealing with that. Even though everybody told you were dealing with it. Every person you with told you were dealing with it.
But it's everybody
And
else,
told
so
you,
you
you just
can't
didn't listen.
believe them.
Right, right,
You can't believe them.
right. Right. And ergo
Yeah,
the
everybody
problem. You
else.
feel me? Everybody
Mm-mm-mm.
else.
Mm.
So again, definitely it starts with people. You need to listen. If a lot of people are telling you something, I think there may be some truth to it. So
Yes.
take time out,
Yes.
listen to it. Doesn't hurt to go talk to somebody. Um,
Mm-hmm.
do people ever just come in like, listen, I don't really feel like anything's wrong with me, but I don't know, and I'm just coming
Yes.
in to see.
Yes.
Okay, okay,
Yes. I've had
okay.
several people who've done that. Like, I think I just need to talk some things through, or they'll say, like you said, I don't think there's anything wrong, but you know, they may have a pattern that they're starting to
Right.
notice.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that to me is dope when you start saying, maybe I want to fix me. I'm going to be the best me I am. I'm take my car
Mm-hmm.
in for a tune up. Even though I don't
Yeah.
hear anything wrong, there's nothing ticking, seems like it's running well. Let me take it in just to see if there's anything wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get a little
Mm-hmm.
checkup.
Yes.
Nothing,
Yes.
there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. We have to get out of that mind state that, going to therapy is weird, it's wrong.
It's
There's
not.
something wrong with
Not at
you.
all.
It's not.
Not at all.
Not at
Because
all.
there are
Right.
things like attachment styles that you may not be aware of. But
Right.
like Daryl
Right.
said, these things do drive your life. Even if you don't know why or how it's happening.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, even from just doing this show, from the time I've done it, you can sometimes you'll learn something and be able to put a name or put it into a category and understand, and it makes you understand it more. Like, oh, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I do that. I do that, and it
Mm-hmm.
can help you to kind of reset, readjust, and know how to move forward. Because once you know what
Mm-hmm.
something is, because before you're like, oh, I
Right.
put it on. Oh, that's why I do it. Okay, so I know therapy does help. Even like I said, this show helps. It's like definitely a precursor. Then it's like, go get the real thing. It's an appetizer. Go get the entree. Sit down for a couple sessions and learn yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And learn yourself. That's what we have to do.
That's
Learn
exactly
ourselves.
what we have to do. And it, you know, I know people don't often, want to do the work because they think it might be hard. But when you have,
Right.
you're working with someone, it becomes a little easier. You have someone that knows what they're talking about because of, the science and, the skill and knowledge base that they have. It can be a little bit easier.
Right. And at the end of the day, what you get from it is most likely a better life. You're living better. After it, you uncover some things. I think it may help you to even, approach relationships differently and maybe have some more
Exactly.
success. You can have some more success.
Mhm.
And that's
So for I'm trying to type up this banner for you guys. Just some things to look for, when you are out there dating and looking for someone who's securely attached so that all right, I'm having a hard time. All right, there we go. So these are just some things that you can notice right off the bat by questions you ask on a date. You know, the securely attached person, they won't play games with you. They are comfortable opening up so they can talk about their feelings. They know how to express themselves. They'll be looking for, you know, they'll be able to, I said looking for because not every secure person wants a commitment, but they will not be afraid of commitment. And they know how to set and respect boundaries and they don't act selfishly. So these are just a few things that you can ask questions around, to just to get an idea of if the person you are checking out or checking for is securely attached. And
right.
you can also use this checklist for yourself. But
Screenshot this.
don't do it in a delusional kind of way. Like I know I
Okay.
don't play games. I know I'm not
Gotcha.
afraid of
Okay.
commitment.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right. 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 Right.
when
Right.
like Daryl said, you had 18 relationships in the last 6 months.
Right. 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 How many kings you had? You got a new king every day of the week. Hey, King. Good morning, King.
So yeah, so that you can use this checklist, and these are just a few things. There are of course there are more, and some of the things we've talked about, but these are just a few things that you can look for in yourself and look
Mhm.
for in a person that you're trying to get into a relationship with. If you're looking for a securely attached person,
Right. Very, very. Hey, screenshot this, save it somewhere, so when you go out, you pull it out and look at it. Take note. I don't think they play games. They feel comfortable. Feels comfortable.
mm-hmm.
Just look at it and check off list. They sat there, respected boundaries, don't act selfish. I mean, this is a good list here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't lose this knowledge right here. Message.
And then you know what, the boundaries one is very important because a lot
Okay.
of times we let people disrespect or not accept our boundaries and we kind of let it go, especially
Okay.
in the
Right.
beginning of relationships. But that's a real clue. Like if you have a habitual line stepper, like Was it Dave on the Dave Chappelle show?
A habitual line crossover.
Yes, yes. Then that person doesn't respect boundaries.
Gotcha.
That's important to know.
Right. Right.
If you tell them, my boundary is that you don't show up at my house unannounced
Right.
at all, and then they at your door with flowers the next day, like, yeah.
Right.
You don't respect boundaries.
And you have to respect your boundaries.
Yes.
Because if you let them in, then they don't need to respect because you don't respect it.
That's right.
Right. So this is what you said. We also have to be accountable for the same things we want.
Exactly. And that, that person that keeps showing up at your house, that's a indicator that they are not securely attached. Because that's not strictly for you, that they love you so much that they just want to see you. They need to know where you are.
Right. And who there? And who's at the
and
house?
Who
what you doing?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Who you on the phone with? Yeah, your car there. Why your car moved? Gotcha.
Exactly.
I was coming over and I loved you and I noticed you weren't home again. Right.
So there are signs. There are signs that you can look for. Yes, therapy is great.
Oh, wow. Listen. That's what we need to. And again, I think it's tough because everybody doesn't want to tell all their business, but it is okay to, I wish more people would say, look, we use therapy and it helped us. You don't got to go in depth, but just that is seeing a successful relationship and then seeing they say, this is what helped us is great. That is definitely great. And thank you for sharing, Ruth, because that's real and people can see that, and say, listen, it worked for them. And I see how happy they are. I see the pictures. I see the work. That's like relationship goals.
Yes. Yes. So, if you find that you're not securely attached, it's important that you do that work. Because that is how you will have a healthy relationship.
Agreed.
Okay. Any last comments?
Thank you.
They getting along tonight.
What I always wanted.
Neil, you are helping Daryl become securely attached.
You are. I am definitely moving to secure attachment through you.
Yay. So any other comments, Daryl?
No, I think we actually summed it up well. I really am going to do more studying on these things and looking into it. That's the only comment I would have. If you some of these things on these shows, if you do have any questions, you always can reach out to Mary or Doc. But also look into things. We have things, Google it, things of that nature. That also helps maybe to get a little bit more understanding of things. And then go sit in somebody's chair. Absolutely, you guys can come. You're invited.
Yes, and like Daryl said, everything is on the internet. And one thing I want to say about that though, when you are doing research on the topics that we talk about, it's probably better if you look at scholarly articles, not somebody's their opinion on what it is. You want to at least try to look for scholarly articles or research articles, or just so that you're not getting the wrong information.
Gotcha.
All right, guys, and this is a topic that we will revisit. And talk about it in the context of other topics that we talk about. But for now, that's the overview of the attachment styles. And hopefully you'll be able to kind of get a better idea about what your style is, and if you're in a relationship, what your partner's style is, and what you need to work towards so that you and them are secure. So thank you for joining us tonight for another Sip and Chat episode. And catch us on the replay on YouTube. Like us, subscribe. I see Daryl be putting up our clips now. Thank you, Daryl. You can watch it again in the Facebook group as well, or on Dr. Carissa Facebook page. So thanks, guys, and we will see you next Friday. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.